Good morning, everyone. Today it's time to the next text, text 2, which called Raisin in the Sun. It's a kind of play, and we are gonna just take Act 1, Scene 1. This play was written by Lauren Hansberry. Lauren Hansberry. So let's have some background information about the author. Okay, according to the picture here, it is the real picture from the movie or the play, in which we have three characters. Number one man here is called Walter, and his wife, Ruth. And here, his sister, Benatha. But before we go in details, we have to know some background information about the author Lauren Hansberry. The background: the playwright Lauren Hansberry was born in 1930 to 1965, was an important voice in the American civil rights era. After she wrote Raisin in the Sun, it took her a year to raise enough money to produce the play. The issue of race made some investors hesitate when the drama premiered in New York City in 1959. Hansberry worried that racist attitudes might cause the play to fail. But she was wrong. A Raisin in the Sun became the biggest Broadway show of the year and was nominated for several awards. Hansberry drew inspiration for her play from the poem Harlem. So we have to know that she got the name of her play from a poem called Harlem. Which was written by Langston Hughes, who was born in 1902 and died in 1967. Let's back again to the Raisin in the Sun. One of the main figures of the Harlem Renaissance, this African-American culture movement based in Harlem, in the neighborhood in New York, thrived in the 1920s. Its music, art, and literature are well known. While we are reading, we have to focus on. Pay attention to how the author portrays each character's hopes and frustrations related to the money. Also, to have a summary or to sum up the whole event in Raisin in the Sun, this story takes place in, let's have the characters and the settings here. This story happened in the Youngers are an American family, living in Chicago, Illinois, in the years following the World War II. During this period, the African American struggled to find economic opportunities, and they lacked many civil rights. Walter Younger, his wife Ruth, and their son Travis lived with Walter's mother, Mama, and Walter's youngest sister, Benatha. Walter's father has died, and the family has recently learned that Walter's mother will receive a large check from the father's insurance. The family members disagree about how the money should be spent. Okay, to summarize this story in this part, throughout this story we are going to start with the conflict between Walter and Benatha, the two siblings or the siblings. At first, each one of them has his own dream, and we have to mention that the American community struggled or suffered from the racism or discrimination in that time after the World War II. As people in a dark skin suffered to find good opportunities, while the people with the black skin dominated everything in the country. But they left little chances for the people in the dark skin, and each one of them tried from the people with dark skin, tried to have his own dream to upgrade or to develop his social class position or to have a good opportunities. According to that, Walter and Benatha has a conflict. It was about how the money should be spent. Each one of them has his own dream, but Walter was selfish as he was, as he was needing this money, and he was in need with this money to achieve his dream, which about having a liquor store. What do you mean liquor store? Liquor store is an alcoholic store. And he thought that by this store he's gonna to gain a lot of money. In a time, or in the other hand, Vinatha told him that this money is belonged to their mother, and she's the only one who can control this money or know how to spend it. But Vinatha also was seeking for her own dream as to be a doctor in a time in which it was unfamiliar for a woman in a dark skin to be a doctor. It was unfamiliar for this time, as most of them were working as nurses. But she's trying to achieve her own dream. But later we know the conflict continued with these two characters. But later, Mama's turn came as Ruth was talking to her and trying to convince Mama to let Walter have his own dream. But later, she stopped talking about how the money should be spent, as it was in the beginning of the day in the morning, and it was something allowed in that time to talk about the money in the morning. But later on, she started, or Russ started to give her advice as you have to take this money to have a journey around Europe by yourself. But Mama refused because she had a dream which was to have a big house to gather the whole family together. And this is the first act and scene one in this play. Now, let's talk about one of these characters here. The characters that we are going to discuss here is Benatha, Walter's sister, or Lena, or Mama's daughter. Benatha is Mama's daughter and Walter's sister. Benatha is an intellectual 20-year-old. She attends college and is better educated than the rest of the young family. Some of the personal beliefs and views have distant her to achieving her own dream. She dreams of being a doctor and struggles to determine her identity as well-educated black women. Okay, and the theme that we have here are, let's discuss them also. Sorry, let's have the story from the beginning. The sport, yes, raisin the sun. So the first theme that we have here is the value and the purpose of dreams. As I told you that we have different dreams: Walter's dream, Benatha's dream, and Mama's dream. Let's discuss the first theme, which is the value and purpose of dreams. A raisin in the sun is essentially about the dreams, and the main characters struggle to deal with the oppressive circumstances that rule their lives. The title of the play references sorry conjecture that Langston Hughes famously posed In the poem, he wrote about dreams that were forgotten or put up. He wonders whether those dreams shrivel up like a raisin in the sun. Every mother, every member of the younger family has a separate, an individual dream. Benatha wants to become a doctor, for example, and Walter wants to have money so that he can afford things for his family, for his own family, about wealth and traders. The youngers struggle to attain these dreams throughout the play. Each one struggles for his own dream. And much of their happiness and depression is directly related to their attainment of or failure to attain these dreams. By the end of the play, they learn that the dream of the house is the most important dream because it unites the family, as it was Mama's dream. The quote here, well I do, alright, thank everybody, and forget me, forever wanted to be anything at all. Forget me, forget me, forget me. These words were said by Benatha to her brother Walter while they were arguing about the money that their mother will get from the insurance. Benatha's desire to use their father's life insurance after his death to go to medical school annoys her brother Walter. Walter thinks that studying medicine isn't a womanly profession, and he worries that the tuition cost is too much to act of the check. Benetha, who's angry, secretly or sarcastically asked her brother to forgive her for having a dream. Like all the characters in the play, Benetha has a dream that is just out of reach. As I told you about the setting, the time, and the place, as we said, the youngers are an African American family living in Chicago, Illinois, in the years following about the time, in the years following World War II. Okay? And about the problem is the American or the African American struggle to find economic opportunities and they lacked many civil rights. Okay, and don't forget the conflict between Benetta and Walter to know how the money should be spent. About part two, the theme here is the need to fight racial discrimination. As I told you, discrimination means racism. As we said that the African people or Afro-American people suffered from the racism or discrimination at that time, and the people with the white skin dominated everything in that time. Let's discuss it or do it as an assignment. The code or the second code was you, I'm sorry, what was you and your brother fussing about this morning? Fussing means here arguing with a loud voice about this morning, this comment. As I said, this quote was said by Lena or Walter's mother or mama to Ruth as they were discussing something about the money and how it should be spent. In the third part, we discovered the third theme, which is the importance of the family. Okay, how was the family more important than his or each one's dream? Okay, and the last quote here, you sound like I'm ready to die. Who would go with me? Well, I look like wandering around here by myself. And don't forget that these words were said by Mama or Lena or Walter's mother to Ruth, Walter's wife, and they were discussing things about the money or how should it be spent. And later try to analyze these two characters, Walter and Ruth. And this is the end for this second text or text number 2, and see you later in text number 3.